Good morning, welcome to Morning Review. This is Kim Watson speaking on Tuesday, the 19th of April. Okay, looking at the euro dollar first, and you see from the daily perspective, we've seen, well, I say regained, we never really lost too much on the euro, on the Asian session data from the oil, the previous evening stroke morning. What we're seeing here at the moment though is a run into the 4-hourly 50, which along with the 100 MA, which may just provide a bit of resistance to where we are. Not quite got up to the hourly 200, but fractionally short. Already done the daily pivot, pretty much done the S1. Got a question, well, maybe coming back down towards the 20s at some point, but at the moment, higher highs, higher lows. Perhaps we could be pushing on at some point, but at the moment, with where we are in the resistance, I'm wondering if we'll just roll over a little bit. Necessarily the clearest movement in terms of price action. Anyway, looking at the pound, the only thing clear about it, sorry, the euros, it's looking relatively positive. As is the pound, it's pushing up back, pushing up to last week's highs at the moment, getting pretty close to those. Still got this wedge pattern sitting on here. We've got plenty of upside potential on the pound at the moment, and in spite of yesterday's rather negative minus £4,000 per resident of the UK, if we was to come out of the EU, it looks like that's been just overlooked and no one's too bothered. It's rallied like a good one and straight into its R1. Possible gain here. We've got perhaps a bit extremed, and we're sitting there with a minor divergence sort of there. We could just be heading back towards the 21s, maybe the daily pivot, maybe a big ask for the daily pivot in terms of what we're seeing, but there's certainly a bit of short-term divergence sitting there. Dollar yen. Okay, let's look at the bigger picture first, and well, it recovered its early drop yesterday and closed marginally up on the previous day there, on its close rather. It's a tough old one here at the moment because for me it looks like it could continue rolling to the downside from what it's doing here. In fact, it's just broken the hourly 21s. Could be heading down towards its daily pivot, maybe further. No real divergences or anything between the recent highs, and it's been putting higher lows in, higher highs in. It's quite a bull run, but this current bar really has taken quite a chunk out and looking like it's trying to change trend here. In fact, let's just put the trend line on and see from where we are going. Oh, actually, it's still potentially in a positive trend until we get back towards that weekly pivot, but all the same, does look on the weaker side to me. Aussie dollar. Now, the Aussie dollar took quite a bit of a boost through its minutes that were released through the Asian session. It's pushing up quite well here, run into the daily R1 here, and again really now looking like it may even want to try and push on further, although there is some key resistance around this 78 area, as I remember from before, so it may just hold on to these levels for a short while. Let's just come back to the higher, bigger time picture. In fact, we've got to go to the weeklies to actually see these what I was looking at for before, and it's really up around about there was some sitting around where we are now, around about, but perhaps we could be on for the monthly R1 at this rate. It carries on pushing. Looks quite strong from yesterday. Today's movement is much more solid than we've seen of late, and it's taken out those key highs. Canadian dollar. Okay, we're back to where we were. Oops, don't want to change colours here. Sorry. And you can see from the dailies we're back to last week's lows. Looks like it's on for its S1 at this juncture. It totally recovered from the gap, and it's just breaking or just around about the prior lows there. It could be on for the monthly S1, maybe a little bit more. I think it's a big shot for asking it to get back towards its daily pivot. So, well, we'll see. Stranger things have happened, but as I say, it could be now it's breaking these lows or around about these lows. Push on for more. We'll see. It's quite, but it's a difficult one to get into. We don't want to be selling into the bottom or something here. So it's a case of waiting for it to give us a bit of a decision. Okay, oil itself recovered yesterday in the end and pushed up, filled the gap pretty much, not quite filled the gap there. So well, perhaps this push up to fill the gap may actually see the Canadian dollar just running back down a bit further and breaking the lows here towards the S1s. Okay, that's pretty much it for me. Nothing else to be said there. News-wise though, sorry, there is some news. In fact, we 2:30. Let's see, let's just run through. Okay, German economic sentiment, not a lot bothered about that. I'm not too interested in that. US building permits 1:30. Sometimes we're getting a little bit blip, but then at 2:30 this afternoon, we've got the Reserve Bank of Australia's governor speaking at a conference, global macro conference in New York. You never know. They're not liking the strength of the Aussie dollar at the moment. It's not helping their inflation interests, and we could see talk of reducing the interest rates further there. Then we got at 3:35, we got the Bank of England Governor Carney speaking. He's testifying before the Lord's Economic Affairs. Now we know one of the subjects that's going to no doubt be brought up there is the Brexit. So could have some volatility at 3:35, and then at 4 o'clock we've got the Bank of Canada Governor speaking before their House of Commons. So again, it's possible some volatility around 4 o'clock. So afternoon, 2:30, 3:35, and 4 o'clock we could see a bit of price action occurring today. Okay, that's it for me. Hope you have a great one. Bye for now.